Well, I've got our potatoes washed and I've got them dried, Bobby, because today we're gonna do like buffet type food that you can serve a crowd. Do you know, I remember when y'all were young, one of the things that I do when I threw y'all a birthday party, I would do potato bars. Now, first we're gonna do a steak and mushroom topping. We've got us a nice top sirloin steak that we've cut in strips, and we're sauteing that off in a little oil. So you kind of watch over that, Bobby, and I'm gonna get our potatoes ready for the oven, okay?
I got it.
All right, I'm gonna use 4 Idaho potatoes that I have washed and dried off. Now I'm gonna just take a fork and I'm just gonna prick them, and that'll help the insides cook just a wee bit quicker. And all it takes is just 1 poke, y'all, okay? So there we go. Now I'm gonna take our potatoes and I'm gonna roll them in a little olive oil.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna salt our skins. And of course, you have to have the surfaces damp so that the salt will stick to them. Now, Bobby is dicing up our bell peppers because we're getting everything ready for the next topping that we're gonna do in a few minutes, and that's gonna be a seafood topping. All right, so I'm just gonna toss this in kosher salt. I do like using the kosher versus a table salt because it's bigger and it doesn't evaporate onto the potato. Now, I've got my oven set at 350 degrees, and I'm gonna bake these potatoes for about an hour and 15 minutes. All right, in the oven those go. Well, I'm gonna step down here and look at our steak.
It's brown and it looks good.
Yeah, it's brown. We've used a top sirloin, and I've got an onion here that I wanna just slice up and throw in there. All right, so just strip that onion just like that. There's so many ways that you can please everybody with the same dish. You've got your meat, your vegetables. In fact, speaking of vegetables, you can even do a potato for a vegetarian. You know, you can do a broccoli and cheese topping, or like grilled off eggplants,
or
zucchini.
spinach.
Now, we're just using a regular button mushroom, but you could take the opportunity to use any type of mushroom. You can use strips of portobello, which is very...
You could do a portobello. You could do one of these with just portobello.
Absolutely.
And onion and cheese.
Yum.
Well, I sure do love coming over here and cooking with you.
Oh, gosh, son. It makes me so happy when you show up.
Oh, I know it, dude.
Or when Jamie shows up, or Bubba.
No, me.
You. Say, leave Jamie out of this equation.
And Bubba.
Okay, son. We're gonna just put that steak onto our platter.
All right.
Do you remember the day we were at the Best Western?
Oh, God.
Our truck. I guess that's a yes.
Yes, I remember every day that we were at the Best Western.
Well, our truck didn't show up, our food truck, y'all. And the food truck was usually there like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at the latest.
Excuse me, are you making a roux right now?
No, I'm fixing to, yeah, kinda. I'm making a gravy or a sauce.
Not a real roux.
No, I'm not doing a real roux. But I'm gonna add some butter to the pan. And we've got all that wonderful beef stock.
Oh, yeah.
So if you'll just sprinkle, Bobby, like a tablespoon of flour.
Okay. All right, now refresh me on what happened.
Okay.
How were we funny that day?
Oh, God, it was actually very horrible.
Oh, those are the funniest days.
So the truck, I think I'd like maybe just a wee little bit more flour, Bobby, not much.
Truck didn't show up, because I'm actually having trouble remembering this.
Are you?
Truck didn't show up, and what happened?
That's perfect. How could you forget, son?
You want this yet?
No, not yet. Let me kind of wet all this down.
Ooh, the food
so the truck
show up.
didn't show up, so we only had a limited amount of food.
Did we take the day off?
No, we didn't take the day off. We spent the afternoon crying, drying Mama's tears. Now I'm gonna add a can of extra rich beef broth, y'all, and let this cook up.
And then are you gonna add all the meat and onions back to the broth?
Right, we're gonna put the steak and the onions back in there, and then we're gonna toss in the mushrooms. And if you'll excuse me just 1 second, I'm gonna get a whisk out so I can whisk So it was just devastating. I remember jumping all over the food purveyors. I said, what do you think you're doing? Not showing up.
That's the day they learned what order they were going to make their deliveries in, wasn't it?
Well, see, we were a very, very, very tiny fish in a very, very big pond.
I remember one morning when I got to work, I was the one opening up the
Bobby.
restaurant. Y'all, this place,
remember.
our place was...
I'm gonna add a little pepper, a tiny bit of salt.
Our place was, it was a restaurant inside of a motel where they did a free continental breakfast. And that was kind of the breakfast business that we expected every day was the people who go fix their continental and then come in and sit at our tables
and have a cup of coffee.
And have a cup of coffee.
We were competing against free every day of our life.
So I walk into work one morning to open the place up by myself. What, you working with that handle?
I'm gonna turn that. Oops, got caught in my shirt that time.
I walked in one morning to open the place up by myself.
Because we normally didn't have any business.
Normally there was nothing going on. So I walk in and throw the switch on the door and turn around to go put on a pot of coffee for myself. And I hear the door open and I turn around and look and 3 softball teams walk in. And I'm not talking about kids. I ain't talking about little kids. I'm talking about grown, big men that play softball like for a living in a league. I was cooking, I was taking orders, and I was filling coffee all at the same time by myself. And you know what? That's the only day that I've ever cried about our business. That was, at the time, not funny.
Son,
now,
I'm so sorry.
Very funny.
But yeah, you know, it's things like that that build character.
Those are the things that don't kill you.
Yeah, All right, so we're gonna cover that, let it simmer for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
So Bobby, we have our mushrooms, our onions, our steak. All we need now, Bobby, is about a tablespoon of Worcestershire, son.
Yep.
And if you would throw in that ½ a cup of sour cream.
All right.
We're really taking this almost to like a beef stroganoff.
Yeah.
Now, over here in this pot, Bobby had diced up a green bell pepper and an onion, and I've sauteed it off in a little oil. And in this pot, we're gonna make a seafood topping to go on our potatoes. I'm gonna add a ½ a stick of butter, and then I'm gonna toss in about 3 tablespoons of flour. All right, so here we go.
I'm cheating. Oh my goodness.
It's delicious.
Can I help you with that?
Yes, if you would grab the spoon and take over. Now I'm gonna add about a cup and a half of half and half. And if you'd kind of just stir that. If you need to use a whisk, switch to a whisk. I've got one in that drawer over there. No, I have one right here, son,
Do you?
here. Don't even have to dig for it. This is gonna be so good. I'm adding a bell pepper and an onion. I've sauteed it off in a little oil. When you think of seafood, you think of it having just like a light little pink color to it. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of ketchup just to give that a slight pinky cast. All right, and the next ingredient is gonna be about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. We want this to be nice and thick. And to help us get this nice and thick, we're gonna toss in 2 cups of toasted off breadcrumbs. I'm adding those breadcrumbs because it's gonna give it body. If you'll switch to a spoon now, and I'm using 1 pound of lump crab meat, y'all. The last thing I wanna add, Bobby, is like the juice of a ½ a lemon because
Something about citrus and seafood.
lemon and seafood. I mean, it's always a perfect combination. See how thick that is? I've got our potatoes out of the oven. All right, Bobby, look at these neat little chafing dishes that I have. All I have to do is light the candles, and this is just gonna be perfect to hold our hot toppings. So if you'd load up our little chafing dishes.
All right.
Gosh, doesn't that look good, y'all? Love a potato bar. Perfect. So look at this, you just put the lids
covering it
on
up?
them. Well, only for a second. Now look over here, Bobby. I've got, for those that don't like meats or seafood.
Margarine?
No, we got butter. And we got a nice cheddar cheese, we got chives, we've got bacon, and we've got sour cream. So everybody is gonna be able to fix their potato any way they want it.
Everybody's gonna be able to fix their potato any way they want it.
Yes.
After us.
After us. And look at our potatoes.
I get 2 and you get 2?
Look at that. Look at the steam coming off that potato. It's cooked perfectly.
It is perfect.
All right, so get your potatoes,
How I get
son.
mine?
Well, come around here. Come around here now.
How you want me to handle the butter?
Any way you want to. There's a fork.
I don't need that. Shoot ya.
All right, I'm gonna start fixing my potato the way I like it. Oh, here, honey, use a spoon so you can get you some of that wonderful sauce. I think I'm gonna put seafood on mine.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that.
Try that.
Okay, and you can try this.
Whoa. I don't know which one's better.
God
They're both
did
pretty great.
so good when he gave us the potato.